Hey, what's going on, guys? So, just more of a casual conversation video today, and I am bringing you yet another eBay video. Not necessarily a scammer type video, but it is going to be a sort of eBay call out video. I do have two buyers I do want to bring to your attention today. Now, in reality, the first buyer is really the only one that's the focal point of this video, but I do kind of want to get your guys' opinion. Hear your thoughts, kind of see where you guys would go with the second buyer. Do you think I made the right choice in that regard? So when I get to buyer number two, should I have made the sale? Should I have followed through with that sale? So buyer number one. I'm not prepared to call him a scammer. Even though people that act in this way, that's exactly what they are. They're freaking douchebags, and it freaking kills me. So, several weeks ago, my wife and I, we were at the Peddler's Mall, and we were doing our shopping, our sourcing, etc. And we came across a couple of bags of coffee. And, I looked it up on, like, Amazon and whatnot. These darn bags of coffee, Starbucks coffee, Nescafe, etc. These darn bags of coffee are selling on Amazon for $30 from this seller, $40 from this seller. So I'm like, hey, shoot. Roughly half price off, but a little bit over half off. I'm like, based on what they were selling at the mall, I'm like, I gotta buy this. I wasn't really paying attention. So I came home and we were looking at the bags, and my wife actually pointed out to me that these were whole bean bags of coffee and not ground coffee. So we actually needed a grinder for those bags of coffee. So it really didn't do us any good. Now she does have a Ninja, but I guess her Ninja machine doesn't actually work for the whole beans. So she actually went out and bought a grinder for the coffee, but since then I've already listed those bags of coffee on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Mercari, and see if it sells anywhere. Last week, Monday, probably early morning, I got a bid. Awesome. Then I got another bid, and I'm like, hell yeah. And I think I talked about this on my live show. And I thought, okay, I'm actually gonna get a bidding war on this bag of coffee and this Starbucks bag of coffee. And saying that I had listed for about $20, and they sell for twice as much. Hey, maybe I get 25, 30 bucks, I'm golden. No, just two bids. But $20.50 after eBay fees, maybe I get 17 bucks. I'm okay with that. And I'll put up a picture somewhere over here showing you the bag of coffee that I sold. And this is what's infuriating. I talk about it all the time. I am like the go-to... I don't want to curse. I'm like the go-to clown that people live on my site. People who want to simply buy from me don't respond to messages. They don't buy the item in hopes that I leave positive feedback, because as a seller, I can't leave negative feedback for the buyer. In the comments, I can bash them all I want. Who cares about the comments? Leave negative feedback in the comments all day long. As long as their rating goes up, that is all that matters. Now, eventually this particular buyer did respond, and he makes it sound like he's interested and he's going to buy it eventually, and I currently, as of when I post this video Wednesday, it's going to be 10 days that this thing's been open. As of right now, he hasn't paid. I'm keeping it open, but realistically, I know he's not going to pay for it. So I have no problems calling him out, because, like I said, this one person, Annie 1055, was the original bidder. And this person had 1175 feedback. So I'm like, okay, awesome. This person, has been a buyer, potentially seller, I think that's like a trusted buyer. So when this person, Mookie, the only one, bid, why the heck would you bid on something that already has a bid? That right there is what blew my mind. You would think you would bid on something that nobody else is bidding on. If you're going to pull this scam to increase your feedback, why would you bid on something that somebody else is bidding on? Stupid. After about 4 days with non-payment, I sent a second chance offer, and I kept it open for 3 days to the ante bidder, but they didn't do anything, and that drives me nuts too. I'm like, you bid on the item, I sent you an offer, you were bidding on it, you wanted to win it for that price. What's different between if you had won it at that price on Monday or if you won it on that price on Thursday or Friday? But no response, so I lost the sale there as well. But so that drove me nuts. And so right now, this person has 93.3% feedback, right? And he has, as a seller, he has 1 negative feedback, which I'm not worried about that. But I've talked about this constantly. When your feedback rating is below a certain threshold, 95 or 96%, when you sell an item on eBay, eBay takes additional fees from you as a seller. So let's say you sell something for $20, maybe you earn $16 out of it. If your threshold is like 97% or higher, for example. Now, let's say your feedback is at 94.3% or 88%, etc. You sell something for $20, you might only earn $14.50, for example, or $15. So you definitely want to have that feedback rating much higher for that purpose, because you don't want to lose extra money because of having a lower rating. You want to be a top-rated seller. So that I think that's exactly why people do this. They don't care about having comments. You can't leave negative feedback for buyers, so they hope that people will leave positive feedback with the negative comments. Like, who cares about the comments, right? Now me, I'm completely different. Like, you say, if you leave me positive, as a seller, if you leave me positive feedback and it says transaction okay, or something like that, like, I will be insulted by that. Or if your feedback rating was, if the comments just said good, as a seller, I would be completely insulted. Like, what? That's it? Good? Really? What? I expect the most glowing comments in the world, because, like, I go above and beyond. I ensure that your package is well protected as much as humanly possible. I ship that thing out lightning quick. I give the most accurate description in the world. I give the best photos, okay? I answer your questions. You're not sitting around for days on end or hours on end waiting for me to respond to your inquiries, etc. So it's like, what more from a seller do you need? If you send an offer, I'm willing to work with you as a buyer. So it's like, nah. So I like that. To me, even comments, I don't care if I get positive feedback, great. But even the comments are important to me. Kind of going through this. So generally, it's like day 4, right? As a seller, on day 4, if the buyer has not paid after 4 days, so usually if it sells on Monday, after 4 full days, Thursday, so on Friday, you can usually cancel the order. Buyer hasn't paid. But usually I'll wait till Thursday or Friday, and I will wait, and I will contact the buyer. hey, it's been 4 days. Are you still interested in this item? But because this has happened time and time again, I'm like, no, I refuse to do that anymore. Now I'm probably waiting 2 days, maybe 3 days. So this item sold on the 23rd of June, and it looks like I reached out to them on the 25th of June. No, it's 2 days. I mean, that's fine. I'm like, hi Muno, just a reminder about your order that requires payment. I can get this shipped out today as soon as I receive payment. Thank you so much, Matthew. No response. I waited another 2 days. It's now June 27th. It has been 4 days since the auction ended, and I have not received payment nor any response. Can you please let me know if you're still interested in this product so that I can save it for you? Otherwise, I will need to cancel the order. Thank you. I'm getting frustrated. Now, that was at 11:32 a.m. He did respond at 1:40 p.m. Thank you for reminding me or letting me know. I did not receive a message that I had one through eBay, but this is not the first time. It's been going on and off for a couple of months, but regardless of their errors, I would still like to purchase the coffee. I will just need to get some more money because I thought I was done buying stuff for the month, but I'll get her done. Thanks, I appreciate it. Placing the blame on eBay. You know you were bidding on something. So if you know you're bidding on something, you go back in eBay and you check your cart. Or you check your notifications. Heck, my email, sometimes if I'm not, logging in or checking my eBay app, if I'm logging into my AOL, if it's my Waddy's channel eBay, or if I'm logging into my Gmail, if it's my Matt6 eBay, it'll tell me on there, right? Because I get all those notifications on those email addresses as well. We're all adults here. We can make the necessary arrangements. But he said he was still interested, and I didn't want to be a jerk because that's not how I do business. So I let him know, yes sir, I'll keep it up off to the side for you. Thanks for reaching out. Because at least he responded, so I was at least excited about that. And I don't want to keep relisting the same items over and over again. I'm trying to make sales. You guys know it is not easy for me to sell items. If I sell even one item a week, that's a good week for me. Whether it's a $7 item or a $30 item, one sale a week, whether it's this big or it's this big. I mean, like I said, a sale is a sale. So if somebody actually bids and something actually sells, I want to try and work with them as much as possible, so I can actually ship that item out and earn some money, right? He responds, much appreciated. And I took screenshots of this, so I'm probably going to put them somewhere in the video as well. On the 29th, so I waited another 2 days. So it's now 6 days later. Hey Muno, I have 2 packages that I'm taking to the post office tomorrow, and was hoping you might be able to make payment this evening or early tomorrow morning so that I'm able to add your package as well. Thank you so much. Of course, no response, right? And then, of course, my last message on the 30th. Hi, Muno, just reaching out again to see if you're able to make payment today. I still got a bunch of boxes that I'm taking to the post office, or at least waiting for the moment to pick up. Waiting for the moment to pick up? That's not proper grammar. Waiting for the moment to pick up. I know I'm trying to say waiting for the moment for the USPS to pick up. And I would like to include your package. Please make payment as soon as possible so that I can get your box out for you. But I know he's not going to pay, right? So now I'm trying to force I'm trying to force the deal, try to force him to make payment as soon as possible, and not trying to just sit around and wait on his schedule. But that's infuriating. I was really hoping that the first bidder, that she would have done, I think it's a she because of the name Annie. I was really hoping that she was going to accept the second chance offer, and pay for the $20. Hell, man, even if she had come in and be like, hey, I don't want this for $20. Would you take an offer? Would you take like 15? At this point, I probably would have done it. Because once an item, most of the time when I create listings, I wrap them up, I box them up, throw a label on them, put them in the garage, and put them on the shelf for storage. And when they get paid for, print out the shipping label, grab the item, slap the label on it, put it outside so it gets picked up for shipping. But like the coffee, you don't want to put that out in the garage or anything like that, so that stays inside. But once they got a bid on it, yeah, I wrapped that up, boxed it up, and had it inside, ready to go. So when it got paid for, it could be shipped. And I don't want to unbox it now because it's already taped up and prepared for shipping, right? What time are we at? 16 minutes? Yeah, I think we could go for another story. So, that is bad buyer number 1. The second buyer actually paid. But I have concerns. So there were a couple of red flags with this particular buyer. I don't want to call him out because the item just shipped out yesterday. The item was paid for, it shipped, all is good, right? But not so fast. Communication was okay, I guess. Normally when I source these items from one of my new favorite stores that I buy my items from, I get a lot of these darn scammers. Like I talked about those foot spas. One I sold on eBay, the other I sold on Mercari. Both of them came back. They were both scammers. They both screwed me over. Both Mercari for this item, and eBay for the other item. They both reimbursed 100% the buyer and let them keep the item. Freaking unbelievable, right? So basically, anytime I have these items now, I'm concerned when I'm selling it to these folks that they're scammers now. Every time I sell anything, that's all I can think about. And that's not a good way to do business. That's why I want to sell strictly to people locally who can actually pick the items up and, just cash exchange. But when he won the item on auction, only bidder, of course, because I only get one bid most 99.9% of the time. He gave me his name and address. Said ship here. Okay. You are aware that you have to pay for the item before I ship the item. But yeah, I responded, let him know that, hey, I print the item, or I print the label directly off of eBay, and as long as your address is updated in eBay, it's gonna make it to you. So one of the red flags is him sending me his mailing address. I mean, that's kind of weird, right? Next thing is like he responded like, yeah, it sometimes goes to my daughter. I'm like, that's kind of fishy as well. But before he even paid, I was kind of going through, looking through his feedback, and he's at 100% feedback. Okay, maybe he's not a seller. Maybe he's just a buyer. But then I came across a couple of, positive feedbacks. And this is why I always leave capital letters in my negative feedback, my positive / negative feedback when I leave negative feedback comments. Because I would have missed this otherwise, because they didn't capitalize anything, right? But this first person writes, scammer. The item arrived and he filed a credit card chargeback. Scammer. I'll put this up in the video, right? Another person writes, never paid, never responded. Please don't come back. Hope all is well. So that got me pause for concern. I'm like, oh man, this guy's not going to pay here, but he's got 100% feedback, so he doesn't need to build up his feedback rating. So why the heck would this scammer want to buy my stuff for? It doesn't make sense. So I go back to that second feedback, an earlier feedback that was left. The scammer that he filed a credit card chargeback. Is this guy going to receive the item and file a return with eBay, keep the item and get fully reimbursed? I've already had those two spas. I don't want this to happen again. Even if eBay 100% reimburses him and I keep all of my funds, I don't want that. Like, look, that's not fair. That's not fair for somebody to get free items. It's like, okay, he gets a free item, he gets his product and him the money. How about you send that item back to me, I keep the item, and I get my funds? How about that? That's fair for me. Okay, so why should the buyer always benefit, but the seller can never benefit? So, when I buy something, as a seller, and here's the thing, as a buyer, if I ever have to return something, which is so freaking rare, my God, it is rare. Even if something is busted, broken, whatever, I have mint on card figures that came in completely damaged. I just tape it up. I live with it. Whatever. Positive feedback for the seller. If I see that they've done justice and try to protect the item, it is what it is. But I send back the item that I got. But in that case, that's what I have concerns about. And again, I'm not going to call this guy out by name because, like I said, he actually did pay for the item and it did ship out. He hasn't received it, obviously. It's only been a day. And I don't want him to watch this video and leave me negative feedback thinking I'm an asshole. I'm hoping he's a good guy and, we have, good interactions and, this turns out to be a good business relationship in the future. But I see this and it gets my heart beating, a little bit. But, what else do I have on here? Oh, emails. Let's go through the emails. So, at one point, let's see here. At one point he asks me, why don't you just take the money out of my account? Why does it say 6 more days? If it's going to take that long, cancel my order. I'll buy another one. I was hoping having it in a few days. I'm like, wait, what? This was on the 29th of June. And I think this one sold on Monday too. No, yeah, Monday was the 29th. Did this sell on Monday? No, this probably sold on Sunday the 28th. Yeah, I think it sold on Sunday. So, and I see that, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's definitely trying to pull one over on me. 6 days. What the hell? What are you talking about? I'm confused like crazy. Like, this guy, he's either having buyer's remorse or he's trying to get one over on me. I don't know. But I'm confused like crazy. He just wants me to cancel the order because he doesn't want it. So, like, I obviously respond, like, I have absolutely no idea what the hell you're talking about. I don't say, what the hell. I just say I have no idea what you're talking about. I laugh it off, of course, because, like, I'm confused. You still haven't made the payment yet, so I'm not able to ship this out. And then, of course, I look it up, and I see that it's set to auto pay, and it's going to, I don't know. I don't have my stuff set to auto pay. So I don't know why this particular listing went to auto pay. That must have been something that eBay automatically does for that type of item or something. I don't know. And I think at like 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. on like July 5th, it was going to automatically deduct from his account or something. And I'm like, oh, that's what he's talking about. It automatically pay in 6 days. And I had to respond back to him. I'm like, okay, yes, sir, I see what you mean now in 6 days. As long as you go in and manually pay for it, it'll get paid for, and I can print out the label and get it shipped out to you the next day. So I let him know that. And then once he paid, I let him know that money was received. I was going to get it shipped out the next day, yada, yada. I'm not going to attach all of those messages. It's not necessary. But I sent a screenshot of the label, and I even took screenshots of the actual box, because the box itself, I found the biggest box I could get, and it's got like, the box is kind of sticking out a little bit. It was a shadow box inside, but the way I had the like little stuffing wrapped around it to protect the glass and frame, that's why the box is protruding out, fattened out a little bit. So, I mean, that darn shadow box is protected like crazy, though. I mean, you could throw that thing off the damn Sears Tower. That thing will survive. Don't recommend it. So, yeah, I basically showed him pictures and everything. So, he didn't respond to that, though. I think if there's any question, like, if he gets the box in and tries to say, oh yeah, this box was damaged or anything like that, he can't go to eBay and say, this thing was screwed up, because I got pictures showing exactly what the box looks like. So if he kind of tries to say, yeah, the box was crushed, this, that, and the other, nope, I got proof. So he was responding to the other ones, thumbs up or whatever. So I think that was good. I did that because that protected myself. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that this guy isn't a scammer, and he's a good person. But I run into so many scammers, so many people that try to take advantage of you, and it's infuriating. And on eBay, what's the one guy I watch all the time? I think it's Pickin' Ain't Easy, I think is the channel. He's a great one to watch. So, I mean, that's ones I recommend. So, but there's a lot of eBay channels, talk about scammers and, returns and stuff like that. So, I definitely recommend getting them a watch, especially if you're a seller on eBay. Hell, if you're a buyer on eBay. To see what a lot of sellers go through. It's a pain in the ass. But guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for hearing me out. And I'll get this posted on Wednesday for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And talk to you in the comments. And see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.